So now I want to graph some functions that are piecewise functions. So we're not really told what f of x is and g of x is. We're just given their graphs. So h of x is equal to f times g of x. So we're going to multiply these graphs then, or the heights. So we have 4 times 1 is negative 4. So just be careful of that positive negative part. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. And then here, this graph extends beyond what g of x is, so we won't go any further. So we'll just connect these with a nice straight line. And our graph of h of x is complete. Okay, let's look at the second one. So here we have h of x is equal to f over g of x. So we're going to go this top graph divided by the bottom graph. Again, you can only do it in the domain of both of them. So here f of x continues past g of x, so we'll only start with g of x starts. Now this is at a height of what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 divided by 2, and that's a negative 2. So you get negative 4. And then here we have 8 divided by negative 1, so that's negative 8. So 6, 7, 8. And then 6 divided by negative 1, so that's going to be a negative 6. And then 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. And our very last point, because again, f of x goes too far, so we don't want that part. And so now we have 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2. Connecting these with a really nice straight line, and we have our new graph h of x. All right, example 4. So we want to evaluate f times g of negative 1, which can seem really confusing in this form. So this might be one of the few times where I'd actually change this notation. So what it's really saying is f of negative 1 times g of negative 1. So we need to look at these graphs and figure out, well, what is the value of f of negative 1. So here's our graph, f of x, and here's negative 1, is right here, or when x is negative 1, and our height at that point is negative 4. It's going to be negative 4, and then g of x at that same point is actually 2. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So that's what this is going to equal when we evaluate. Now same thing here, this looks really confusing, but if I rewrite it as f of 5 over g of 5, makes a little bit more sense. So again, our f of x is here. Go and find our x of 5, and what is the height there? Well, it's 2. And g of 5 at that same location is negative 4. And so you get negative 1/2. So that question looks really confusing to start, but once you know what you're doing, it's not too bad. And that is a favorite on diplomas.